Hello, 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 and welcome back everyone to the yet another episode of C Sharp Corner MVP. As you can see, I have not changed my t-shirt, which definitely means that I'm not fresh. I am fresh and back to this live show. And for someone who has not joined us the other day for this big blockchain conference, it was a really nice conference. We had about 7 to 8 speakers. We talked about the entire ecosystem of NFTs, blockchain, Web3, and whatnot. Quite a few things went over my head because I'm not an expert in all this, but I definitely enjoyed hosting it and learning the content from behind the scene. And I hope you all did the same. And just in any case you have missed it, you can find all that content available on C Sharp on the YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/slash C Sharp Corner. And yeah, in today's episode, this is a C Sharp Corner MVP show. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about enterprise-grade microservices template with .NET. And this time we are featuring Vitalii. And I don't know anything about this topic. He's an expert. He's going to talk about it. But yeah, I think I'm hosting Vitalii for, I think, second time. But he has been on C Sharp Corner live show on third time. Probably he was in one of the conference that I think it was a code quality conference. Then he was at David's show, and now we have him, an absolutely amazing guy, very active in the community, and I can't wait to bring him in. So without any further ado, let's bring our rock star Vitalii. Hey Vitalii, what's up?
Hello, how are you guys?
I'm doing good, Vitalii. Where are you joining us today from? An interesting background.
Yeah, interesting background. I'm actually in the camper, and I am in Paris near the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, I just was trying to find the parking, and hopefully I was able to find it before the start of the show. Yeah, so I just quickly found my laptop, realized that it discharged because my kids was watching cartoons on the laptop. So I don't know what to do. So plug everything and get ready to the show.
Vitalii, we wouldn't have mind if you would have joined us from near Eiffel Tower. We would have enjoyed that too. But
No,
never
it
mind.
would be hard because I seen that there is a lot of steps and I don't want to go there. Yeah, but probably there is an elevator, but I didn't check how much does it cost. Probably a lot.
Okay. Vitalii, how have you been doing all this time? I think we last there in David show about 6 to 7 months back. How has life changed, and what are you doing these days?
Oh, actually, it was changed a lot because actually I'm Ukrainian and I am from Kharkiv. Kharkiv is the most bombarded city in Ukraine now due to the war. And so I have 3 kids, and we decided with my wife to take kids and get out from Ukraine even before the war started, because we seen the news and we seen that a lot of forces collected around the borders, and our house is near the border, actually 20 kilometers. So now above our house, rockets are flying, a lot of bombarded houses, dead people, and so on. But that's great that we went out of the Ukraine even before. So we lived 3 months in Cyprus, then we lived 2 months in Sri Lanka, and in Sri Lanka war started when we were in Sri Lanka. Also in Sri Lanka started kind of a civil war because there is a bad situation. Their currency, how to say, like
exactly.
Yeah, so we went out from the Sri Lanka to Europe. Now we took a camper in Germany, so we went on a trip through the Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, France. We've been in Spain a lot of time on the coasts and so on. Also been in Portugal, and now we went back to the through the France to Germany, and now we're in Paris. So tomorrow I have to return back my vehicle. So this was a nice 2 months trip on the camper. We are very brave. It's the first time, but we were forced to do something crazy.
So yeah, I mean, I've been keeping myself updated with the news that's happening in Ukraine, and my heart goes out to all the folks, and you guys being so brave. I don't know, world is a crazy place to live. But yeah, I mean, Vitalii, so you have been working remotely all this time?
Actually, I worked while I was in Cyprus and in Sri Lanka. Then when I came to the Europe, due to the war, some obstacles occurred, and I was required to stop working. So now I was able to fully join the trip and you know, make that the best I can for my 3 kids, my wife, and actually my mom and my relatives came here, and we also live in camper together now, you know, a couple of days, and we show them Barcelona and Paris. So
wow, it's good. I mean, you have
yes.
found a blessing in disguise, right? You're enjoying every moment. May it be coming it the hard way, but it's great that you have found happiness in everything, Vitali. So thank you, Sam. I would say thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining us today, for giving us your time. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I think I know today you're gonna talk about microservices, which is a very hot topic, right? And I won't take much
Sure.
of your time. If you want to go ahead and share screen, please do it, and then we can get started.
Yeah, sharing screen now. It's asking me something, so here is my screen. Okay, so I'm ready.
I see a screen. Yeah, I've added to the stream. Maybe, Charlie, you would like to click on that that says hide. You know, there's a
Ah,
StreamYard.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
good.
Yeah, see, I could read that language. All right, all right. All right, go
Yes,
ahead,
good.
Charlie. Next 25-30 minutes is all yours.
Okay, great. So I will be talking about enterprise level microservices, and definitely there is a big topic. And so, what about me? I am Vitalii Honcharuk, and I was a principal lead software engineer in different companies, and I mostly worked in C#.NET, worked also with Angular and SQL, and in Azure, actually in AWS platform, and with different other languages, but this is the most that I worked with. And I have more than 8 years of experience. So if to talk about microservices, probably many people already heard about it and read about it, but I want to emphasize on some aspects of it. So advantages of microservices, let's just recap. Autonomy of each service, technology choice independency. So with each microservice, since it's kind of autonomous, you can change technology and you can select based on what you need. Also scalability, so you can scale your resources specifically for some specific purposes that your microservice is doing. Because when you're doing monolith scaling, you need a lot of resources to scale it at least twice, and then 3 times, and so on. So it's an advantage of microservice. So fault isolation, if you use kind of circuit breaker pattern and some other specifics, you can isolate your fault. So if some microservice is failing, some other microservice, if it's, for example, using Poly, it's a well-known .NET library that helps doing resilience in your microservices. So it helps you to isolate. So it can, for example, give you default responses or some specific behavior to check how microservice is still dead or not. So it's really helpful. Also, if to speak about microservices and in comparison to monoliths, microservice, each one independent microservice will definitely be simply and less complex to investigate. Because it's small, it should be responsible, like single responsibility for some kind of bench of operations. Also, it's granular and faster to deploy each service. I'm not talking about all the services or orchestration, but special service, it will be faster to deploy than just monolith. Also, simpler like single service development experience will be much simpler. I guess everybody will agree. So you will be able to have more options to tune resources and performance. It's, I think, also advantage of microservices. So disadvantages, I see more even than advantages, but if you will work around them, it will be much more valuable to have microservices. So if to speak about disadvantages, inter-service communication complexity is the most disadvantage, because you know, when I speak to other experienced guys, almost all tell that the most complex part is not in microservices, but in between of microservices, because all the microservices should communicate somehow, and you need to work around all the faults and some bad behaviors, network communication problems, and so on. So next point is overall more resources needed. Why I'm talking about that? Because when you have monolith, you have, for example, one big machine, and for this one big machine, you have, for example, this monolith, and it has some spare capacity just in case you will need more memory or more RAM, more CPU, and so on. But when we speak about microservices, each microservice should have its own spare resources just in case. So in overall, you will need more resources, but sometimes it's much cheaper to have more small machines than one big, very, very expensive machine. Some, I don't know, Core i12 or Core i9, I don't know, does it exist or not, Core i12, so, or some special server CPUs or so on. Overall, more code needed. Yeah, it's again kind of disadvantage, because definitely you will need to set up all the microservices with, you know, more kind of setup code, boilerplate code, and anyway, you will need to orchestrate that somehow between all the microservices for them to like look like the same. I mean, the setup settings and so on. Actually, this topic will be covered by my template that I will show you soon. The orchestration of updates of microservices. So end-to-end testing is more difficult. It's, I guess everybody will agree, because a lot of microservices can communicate between each other, and you will need to know how to orchestrate them and to write end-to-end tests and so on. Also, more skilled team needed due to more advanced challenges appears. Yeah, that's again yeah, it's a big topic. Actually, due to all these obstacles that I'm showing here right now, you will need more skilled team, or when you will start doing this microservices architecture, you will probably need to find some guy who already worked with that and who already did a lot of crutches and who knows at least how to not to do, how to not to do bad practices. Because he already did that and spent a lot of time. Yeah, that would be really great if you will find really great guy who knows how to do that well. Okay, so deep domain analysis needed to eliminate distributed monolith. I want to tell here that before building microservices, you will need to analyze your, for example, if you have existing system monolith, you will need to check, you will need to do event storming, for example, go to the database and see which queries you have a lot of, for example, a lot of joins, which tables should be together, and from that you will probably be able to analyze how to build it better. So it's also a deep topic. You can read articles how to create microservices and how to start building microservice architecture, and you will find there some practices how to get this analysis. But I just want to tell that it's hard. Okay, microservices are not suitable for small companies and teams. This kind of not maybe a disadvantage, but just a topic to talk a bit, because when I joined to some companies, many companies wanted to build microservices because it's kind of cutting edge technologies and so on. But that's really hard when you have a small team, because you will not have dedication of some team members to some specific microservices, because basically you will not have such amount of people that you need. So for some small companies, small teams, it's better to start from kind of monolith that prepared to split. So kind of a mixed mode, because you will dive in the intercommunication between services. It takes a lot of time to make it good. Also, yeah, some disadvantages and hard questions is distributed transactions, orchestrations, distributed tracing and logging, and so on, because it's hard because you have many microservices and you need to set up all of them kind of the same. I'm sorry, here is very loud family parked just nearby, and some kids screaming here. I hope it will not distract you. Also some builders cutting something, so hope it's not distracting you. So yeah, deployment orchestration and resources management difficulties. It's really hard because anyway, for good microservice architecture, you will have a lot of microservices, and you will have somehow to orchestrate that for it to be able to deploy one by one, and not to have cascade failures and so on. And for that, you will definitely need some at least one DevOps guy. Or if you have a big company, you need a DevOps team. So let's continue quickly, because I want to show you my template. So it's a last page that I'm showing you here, and then code. So consideration points when going to microservices. So size of the team, I already told a bit about that, for small teams, for small companies, it's not really good to go with a deep microservice approach. With a ton of microservices. So then business functions. Yeah, definitely there are a lot of how to say, I forgot this word. So different companies work in different domains. For example, for telecommunication, we will have some specifics for example, some big video companies who, for example, let's imagine even not video, for example, Spotify, they have a lot of music to which is downloading, and they need to proceed. For example, video on demand services, they will have some specific microservices which will have kind of data flow with these videos or some files. For example, Instagram with this how to say, like videos when you're uploading, so you need to somehow to operate with them. So it's some specifics. For example, for medical domain is another specifics. So you will have different things, and you need to analyze that very well to understand which technologies do you need. For example, Kafka, RabbitMQ, gRPC, HTTP communication, and so on. So you need to analyze. If you have a big team, you need to split on multiple teams to multiple teams be able to focus on the most on their topics for make development faster. Yeah, definitely they will need to communicate to compare their kind of communication contracts, to agree on them, and this is required for all the teams who work with microservices. Also, event storming, data flow, and joins, I already talked about that, so it's a topic to consider. So new team members, yeah, I already also told about that you should probably hire one or as you can, as many as you can, people who have already microservice experience if you want to build a good system in your company. So it's since in the big projects you have
We got dropped. Probably he was in the campfire and he lost internet connection, but never mind. We can always have him back and host him again. He was talking about the microservices, and if you visit C Sharp 1, you'll find a tons of articles and content over there talking about microservices. And I still remember the second conference that we did. It was back in 2002. It was a solution. It was a what was it? It was a solution architect conference or a software architect conference, and we had I cannot recall the speaker's name, but there was a couple of content around microservices then, which has been gaining, which is under trending at C Sharp Conference. So you can also go ahead and check those videos. Having said that, before this was a C Sharp MVP show. Tomorrow we'll be back with Colin show, and I just got an email from Colin that Maheshan is going to be the host, is going to be the guest for tomorrow. So tune in at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And if you're joining us from Asia, it is about 8:30 Indian time zone. Having said that, thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. I'm your host, Simon, and I will see you soon. Bye.